Welcome to your very first episode of Top Flights podcast show, Topcast. My name is Jessica and I will be your host for the podcast. In today's episode, we will be interviewing Top Flights CEO Sue Kronfeld. So I'm sitting here with Top Flights CEO Sue. So just give us a little bit of a background about yourself, Sue.
I love GA, General Aviation. Forced into it because everyone seems to aspire to go to airlines. Yeah. But I was in the early 90s in a similar scenario as we are with COVID. Japan was our major breadwinner in the line of work that we did down here amongst the mountains and tourism. Japan went bankrupt and suddenly there was just no more tourism happening. There was no more employment in the airlines. Yeah. And so I stayed in general aviation, and I think I was very fortunate to be amongst the mountains when it happened, because I could make a career and remain down here doing tourism around the mountains. Yeah. So that's started in 1988, commercial flying by 1990, and 30 odd years. 30 odd years, wow. Around, and this is my playground. Yeah. It's not a bad playground to be in. No, not at all. It's a very, very beautiful part of the world. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty lucky there. Mm. All right, so we have had some social media questions. We put out a question poll the other day for people to ask questions to you in particular. Mm. So the first one that we got asked was, what's one bit of advice you wish someone had given you prior to starting your training? Well, one thing, knowledge is a great thing. So, of course. Very practical, hands-on upbringing that I've had in my flight training. And one thing I wish I was steered towards was knowing the Civil Aviation Authority website. Simple as that. I mean, a resource that's always been there, and every company and every pilot has to abide by the rules and regulations. Yes. So partly laziness on my part, and sometimes it's automatic with every student, is that you go to a flying academy or school or club and you rely on the instructor. Yeah. So you follow a syllabus that the instructor says, right, next flight we're going to do is blah, 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 and you obediently go and do it. But however, being told also, and it should be basic for today's internet the way it is, did you know that we are complying by civil aviation rules? Here's the website, that's all the rules and regulations. Yeah. Go for gold, and you get so many answers from that. Everyone's got access to it, and at the end of the day, that's what everyone has to follow. So, yep. Huge improvement on their behalf. I mean, a big clean out at the moment for them, but ongoing gap books and resources in that website's really cool. Just like instructor guides, everything. Yeah. Basis of our training. Yeah, and gives you just as an individual training, gives you that more insight about the rules and regs of meeting them. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Mm. Okay, the next one. What's the most memorable flight you've ever had, and what made it so special? Yeah. Oh, what made it so special? Okay. Yeah. Well, I actually came up with 3. Okay. Okay, and I think everyone would agree with me that your first solo. Yes. Is the most memorable. Never forget that one. It doesn't matter how old and bold you are as a pilot. Yeah. I remember every detail of that first solo. Yeah. And I'm sure people who have flown would agree that I would have my instructor beside me the whole way around that circuit. Yeah. Whether, he wasn't there, but the procedural mechanism that you've got to do in that circuit. Yeah. And you came around, and I tell you what, it was one of the best landings I'd ever done. Yeah, of course. So that's what I got out of it, was full achievement. Yeah. Yes, about time. It was good to get him out of that aircraft, and I could do it. Yeah. What aircraft were you in for that? Cessna 152. Yeah. So I'm a Cessna chick from way back. Yeah. Nice. Loved them, very much enjoyed them. And I have to go on. The second one was flying over the Victoria Falls in Africa. Yeah. So what was the last one about it? What did I get out of it?
What made it so special?
What made it so special, right? Well, when you've managed to get all the money together to go and fly in Africa for a starter,
yeah,
you want to be able to fly particular places, and main goal for me was Victoria Falls, because we were going up through to Zimbabwe, and we had it was a lot of burning. They burn a lot at that time of year, so it was very hazy and smoky, and we arrived in the Victoria Falls aerodrome there, and it was smoky, and I thought, oh no. But the next morning was clear as a bell. And you have microlights at the bottom, helicopters in the middle, and we have to fly. Any visiting plane has to go at 6,000 feet. Yeah. The immensity, you fly between Zimbabwe and Zambia, going around in a circle over the falls. So that was the ultimate thing, was to fly overhead this big, huge hunk of water that I'd read about as a kid. So I finally did it. So yeah, that was my own personal achievement.
That's amazing.
And the third one, is that you work your little bottoms off and you get to your commercial and you get a job. Yeah. And so the memorable one was being set off on my own in a Cessna 207, fully laden with adults on board, me a chick of 26, flying to Milford.
Awesome.
Finally all checked off and everything, and I had my own load. So that's after first solo. I think whatever commercial job you do and you're released and you're signed off is memorable. Yeah.
And into Milford as well. So
into Milford, yeah.
Can't complain too much about that. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What are some of the biggest changes in aviation you've noticed over your career?
The biggest change, most recent in my mind, is the academies.
Yeah, that's true.
Being from the old school, we had to earn our uniform.
Yeah.
You know, so you got a commercial license, you were still a mufti. And it wasn't until you earned that uniform until you actually started earning money from all that hard yakka that you've done and all that investment and the loss of sleep and the 3 jobs you had and just to pay for it. And the big reward is you're on the payroll and here's your uniform.
Yeah.
You know, turn up on Monday, so to speak. And that to me is a real cool major achievement. So the academy's intakes of, benefit to the pre-COVID airlines, that it was shortness of pilots, and so there is a huge market there for our academy schools.
Yes.
And brand new kit and great big investment, and that's really cool. I mean, it gets the aviation going. It's just that mindset, in my view, my own personal view. This is that someone rocks up, never touched the dials before, and they give them epaulets in uniform. Just doesn't really tweak with me.
Yeah. You earned your uniform.
You earn it.
Whereas we signed a piece of paper to say that we're going to train to be pilots.
That's it.
We've got it straight away.
There's your uniform. You know. So even if you just get a T-shirt that you are a student pilot. Yeah. And then you'll grade up to a private pilot. Then you get your commercial and your instrument rating, your multi. Then when you graduate, maybe get a pilot shirt, but you don't get the epaulets.
Yeah.
You don't get the tie. You actually get the job. Yeah.
That's a very big difference then.
Yeah, that's the big influence I see in the media. Post-COVID, who knows? Airlines will come back, but people just have to hang in there. Huge investment, and it's a real letdown, but everyone's aviation has been kneecapped. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah. So when you first started training, was there no sort of flight schools, no diplomas offered, or was it all just self-directed sort of learning? Yep.
There were scholarships out there from the Aero Clubs, Air Women's Association. Gliding was doing scholarships as well. But you took a bank loan.
Wow.
Or you took a family loan. Which I did both. But you could get a bank loan and proportion it. So I got so much money to do my commercial, so much money, and it paid that off. So I had 3 jobs. Then you got another loan to do your instrument rating and your multi rating. So you just proportioned it rather than. I feel for you guys out there that have got $100,000 to $170,000 loans, and that's a huge undertaking. You have to go airlines, so you've got to get a good wicket to do it,
only option to be able to afford to pay that one off at the end of the day.
It's piecemeal. So get a real supportive family, or you had some investments behind you, or you're just going to be paying it off.
Yeah.
It's hard yakka. Yeah.
No, that is very, very different situations.
Indeed. Yeah.
Cool. Next question. What did you learn from being a CPR student to actually flying as a commercial pilot? So what's some of the big differences you found from going as a trainee pilot to actually...
getting your job, yes.
Getting a job.
Yes, indeed. Even today, once again, you go through the CAA website and you see what the commercial syllabus is required of you to do.
Yeah.
Being old school, it's good that you're hands-on and you've got your maps and you have to draw your lines and you've got to do your diversions and everything. At our hand and at our fingertips now is your iPad and awesome GPS systems, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
But you got to use your top 2 inches, as I say, so that the hands-on stuff's fine because it comes in handy. You do use it, particularly around this piece of countryside.
Yeah.
But you meet all that qualification, you sweat it out, you finally pass your exam with the examiner environment, and you've still got a license to learn, because I found that you go and knock on doors to get a job, and it's the past experience that the employer's looking at, right? So you may have 200 hours commercial, but the bonus in your logbook is, I went off and went into a syndicate, and I flew everywhere, all the way around Stewart Island. I did mountain flying through Classic Flights with Sue to Kronfeld. I went and did my multi-IFR through some well-known people over in Mainland Air, maybe in Dunedin, or up north, blow your socks out doing that. Doesn't hurt to do an instrument rating, even as a PPL, because wow, have you? Wow, you've gone ahead and did it. So I've towed gliders for a while. I went and did some parachuting, because you can, I think. Hang on, I better make sure that's right. But you can, CAA website. But any experience that you may have had is a bonus in your logbook. Don't just sit there idle with a commercial pilot. Because you need to get out there and get
some
mature
experience
in your flying. Now, on top of that, once you get employed, you go through the whole exposition and induction system with that company. Doesn't matter whether it was with Air New Zealand, with us down here at Classic Flights, over in Queenstown flying the caravans, doing, you have to abide as a pilot, professional pilot for that company, according to what their exposition, which is the rules and regulations from CAA. So it all ties in together. And they must route check you, they must type rate you. So the whole discipline of a commercial pilot under that syllabus at the flying school, to actually practically using it in the industry, it's helpful, but you get ready for a whole lot more and a whole different learning environment. Because the rules and regs say, it might stop and say you can't go any further because you've got to calculate it to this point, but the exposition of this company will allow you to fly so far, but you must carry this much fuel with this much weight, so you're going to have heavier aircraft, you've got to mature into all that side, and the management will expect you to jump and get going. They don't drop you right in it, of course. They've got to give you a training period, but be prepared to actually see outside the square and know the exposition of that company, and then so it's a whole nother challenge, which is really cool. That's what I love about flying, about the aviation industry, because you're learning. You don't just stop at, I'm a commercial pilot now. Whoa.
And then even job to job, always different. You always, when you get into that other job, you're going to be learning something different, new exposition, everything. Totally
different. So along the same lines, because the rules and regs, if you read the CAA website, there's rules and regulations, the 135, the 125,
different aircraft,
abiding by all that.
Different procedures, per se.
Big HR in Air New Zealand. Just applying for Air New Zealand itself is a major challenge. And the HR and just got to take it on board, really.
Cool.
One thing at a time.
Good advice. All right, next question. What is your favourite airfield to fly into and why?
Wonder why? Wonder what? I immediately thought of Milford Sound because I've done many years in and out of Milford Sound, and it is a cool place, and it keeps you honest. You know, nothing's a perfect circuit. You've got to actually pinpoint your aircraft, set it up, and be ahead of the aircraft at all times. And right, that's cool. But I recently owned a Mall 5, and I loved flying into Jumperland.
Where is that?
Because
most people, where is that?
You know, if anyone from Doc's listening to this, I had a concession, so it was all right. It's in the airline. It's in the national park.
Yeah,
Spurry National Park, and it has. We're fortunate to have a backcountry recreational pilots association.
Yeah. And
we have an over blanket concession for members of that particular group. And I think it's about 100 strips throughout national parks in New Zealand. Wow. And it is, you must meet particular regulations as a pilot to be within that concession, because concessions, of course, don't go cutting down trees and you know, leave the place as it is and report anything like rabbit holes and bits and pieces in the strip. So that allowed me to take my aircraft into this little place. And it's slightly uphill, clear way either end, and it's in a place up the Wilkin, out of Makarora, heading west, and you make your way over what's called Rabbits Pass. Okay. And there's an airstrip there, and you can park your plane up and hike a 3-hour hike up to Lake Lucidius, and awesome hike, beautiful country, and it's just, really cool little strip.
Awesome.
Yeah, grass and really cool.
So not Milford Sound after all.
No, yeah.
Nice. Would that be a close second though?
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many type ratings do you think you have?
Yeah, well, you know, you're asking me about that, Jess.
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah, I've got over 10.
Yeah,
at least 10. Just over 10, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And
a few.
Yeah, a few. And I must admit, when I have the fortunate time to be able to hire or fly someone else's plane, doesn't matter how many hours or experience you have, you need to be respectful of how that person flies their plane. And some people frown at me when I go, well, what settings do you want me to fly this plane at? Well, you should know, you know, you got to rate it. Well, you actually fly that plane and you set it to a particular settings for that motor. I want to know what it is, you know. Yeah. And when you own a plane, you get quite protective about how your engine settings and setup are all flying, and you expect people to fly like the same. Once again, if you get employed, you get expected by the management when they train you in all these planes to fly them accordingly. So, it's I like jumping into different aircraft. I miss the twin. Yeah, enjoy the twin, but just doing this training environment with a small aircraft is fine. Yeah,
anything. Yeah, any flying is flying. Yeah. Do you have a favourite aircraft to fly at all?
Well, recently the Mall.
Yeah.
Really cool little office. Not big enough for big 6-foot broad blokes.
No.
Perfect for females. Yeah. Well, the smaller frame.
Yeah.
We all just jump in there and it's great. Everything's there. It's got a manual flap, and I had a 235 in mine. So you basically get airborne from Big Bay and just point the nose home, and she just climbs up over the mountains without even taking a breath.
Perfect.
But the other one I love, I flew the Twin Otter, and Twin Otter's just the bee's knees.
Is it?
Really cool machine. For 20 people on board, versatile. You can take all the seats out and fill it right up to the top if you needed to. Really, turbine, really nice little machine. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What is your favourite thing about being an instructor or instructing?
Seeing the smile on your students' face when they've qualified.
Yeah.
You know, you've got them through the syllabus. And just the first solo. Yeah, just seeing their progress.
The first flight even.
Yeah.
Just that smile that everyone has as soon as they get airborne for the first time.
Yep. And pretty, I like the consistency in aviation, because you know, people have never felt flight before.
Yeah.
And you forget that, and so students bring you back down to the basics of like, yeah, man, this is good.
Yeah.
I remember that, you know, putting your feet up. You think you're going to put your feet up on the dash and pull this thing off the ground, and you realise, oh my goodness, hey, this is really easy.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. I've got to land it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's the success of the student, because you feel gutted if they don't pass anything.
Yeah.
Or I think with my also inducting and helping other instructors, working out why can't I get this particular syllabus across to my student? And of course you could guess the most difficult one.
Yeah.
The landing.
Yeah, of course.
You know, why don't they flare right? What am I not telling them where to look? You know.
Yeah.
And that mission of keeping that structure of training going, that's a good challenge too. So just awareness, making everyone else aware. Yeah, it's good.
Nice. Okay, so we know that you really, really like instructing. What do you enjoy most about the scenic flights that we do?
Oh, you never get enough of the mountains. Well, I'm not quite sure what other I went and had a look at the Rotorua. You go around the not Tongariro, the mountain near Rotorua, the Rainbow. Tarahoe. No,
that's
anyway, you're going to
around Rotorua.
Yeah, you're going to see scenics around Rotorua, and if you had to do that throughout the year, it would be pretty boring in my view, because what it does blow most North Islanders' minds is when they get to the South Island and they see this immense countryside. And I'm a Kapitiite from way back. The weather conditions didn't surprise me, because you're used to coastal flying around, getting hit with anything. But the immensity of those mountains, I'll fly down parts of Fiordland even today and realise, and think, man, I haven't been around here before. What's the guts, you know? I've been up and down here. What was the question?
What do you enjoy most about scenic flights?
Oh, scenic flights. Just showing the people the immensity of this countryside.
I totally understand that.
Rather than going 12,000 feet, as probably people expect, you know, they'll just take me over. No, we fly through the valleys. Look at these big tributaries and tributaries, and if you see wild animals, it's just the ultimate, you know.
Yeah.
But from the bird's eye view, looking north and south, east and west, getting to a height where they can actually see, just get up that island a little bit towards Cook, and you can see all the way across to Oamaru and back across the other side to Tasman, you know, and the world of discovery for the people on board. Yeah. Just, you know, I've always driven my car through here, you know, I've never seen it up the top.
No, it just looks completely different.
Yeah, and also weather. People wonder why we can't get to Milford. It's beautiful over here. What's your story? You know, it's really bad in Milford. Yeah. When they do get across, they realise there's not just one range to go over. There's about 4 different ranges to cross before you get over that side. And
everything's different.
Don't realise. Yeah, it's quite an immense for a little island. It has a huge amount of geography to offer.
Yeah, compared to the North Island even.
Yeah.
Just one flat bit of land, one mountain in the middle.
The North Island has a lot to offer too, particularly if you fly up through between Taranaki and Ruapehu. Yeah. That stretch of country is just ultimate, huge. Trying to imagine what the lava, what a formation of that country. Yeah. Really cool.
No, I remember flying through that sort of area and being like, wow, it's amazing, so mountainy or so hilly. Yeah. And then coming down here and being like, no, that's a mountain. Is getting bigger.
But Coromandel's awesome to fly around. Yeah. You know?
No, that's nice as well.
Yeah. So it has its
coastal.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Depends what you want to see, I suppose.
The diversity. Yeah. And it is diverse, this country. It's really... Very. I have to say, I've been fortunate to fly in Africa and Australia, and getting here is the ultimate. New Zealand is not a straightforward place to fly, and that's what I love about it. You got to get the weather. Yeah. You got to know which, what plan A, B, and C is. Yeah. New Zealand is really diverse, especially general aviation flying. You know, it's good training for even the big boys who've been flying up in 777s. They get down here in a Piper, or even, hell, I've had a pressurised 210.
Yeah.
And it blows these guys away. Yeah. So
Real flying.
real hands-on flying, I tell you.
Hands-on. Yeah.
Yeah, discipline.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions that we have from our social media.
Okay.
Do you have any parting words of advice or anything for us?
Only a spin for the little company we have here, really.
Okay.
You know, because the art of survival.
Yeah.
And I found that even post-COVID, that we all have to, that word resilience.
Keeps getting thrown around.
Oh, I tell you, you know, you got to hang in there. So to basically leave the stresses of non-flying behind, especially in the airline, if you're in furlough or whatever and you just want to change a scene, get down here, bring your plane, or we'll hire one out to you, and we'll take you into the mountains. And our mountain flying courses really set a good standard in regards to survival and safety. There are CAA rules and regs, and there's also SUS rules. So I'd love to share them with you. So if you want to come and learn and fly, not learn, to build on your experience and have a really good fun time as well. Because there's a lot of guys that just don't want to venture in the mountains because it's too dangerous. Well, I want to show you that you can venture in the mountains and have a very safe and enjoyable flight without any major issue.
Do it safely.
Yep, and you, with your limitations, you grow on it.
Yeah.
Yep. North or South Island, really.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sue, for coming and having a chat with us.
You're welcome. Yeah.
And we may see you on the podcast again sometime soon.
You never know.